Hello, friends. It's Greg here on the Blue Feather Ephemera channel. I'd like to start by wishing everybody a happy springtime. Now, on the Blue Feather Ephemera channel, we talk about eBay sales in the Blue Feather Ephemera store where I sell vintage magazine print ads. During this past week, I sold 13 items for $199.01. And we're going to talk about those sales. I'll show you what sold. And a little bit later on, I'm going to talk to you about selling your product by selling your service. So stay tuned for that. Let's take a look at those sales. I figured we'd start this show out with some bull. This is a 1972 Progressive Farmer magazine advertisement for the American International Charolais Association. And that massive critter in the picture is a Charolais bull. Charolais cattle are one of the more popular breeds of beef cattle in the United States. $10.77 sent this ad to Indiana. The 20th century was full of clever advertising, and especially those years we refer to as the mid-century, from about 1945 to about 1970, 75, something like that. But this ad here appeared in Saturday Evening Post magazine in 1966. It's an advertisement for General Motors. If you've spent any time at all in old magazines, you've probably seen countless ads for Body by Fisher. And what they've done here in a creative way is they're touting their custom, what they call coach work, which is basically the interior of the car, the seating and, the dashboard and your experience inside the automobile. What they've done is they've taken the seats from a car here and they've scattered them around this swank-looking apartment in the mid-century style. So, very, very nice job, in my opinion. $16.77 sent this ad to a buyer in South Dakota. The Baldwin Company is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They're a company that makes pianos and organs, and they placed this ad in Holiday Magazine, 1965. The picture in this advertisement reminds me of that old joke that goes, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Uh, you can correct me in comments if I'm wrong. I believe that might have been Groucho Marx that said that. But anyway, the fellow in the picture is not actually a piano tuner. He is a piano tone expert. In the text of the ad, they talk about how they are the world's slowest production line. It takes over a year, start to finish, to make one of their 9-foot grand pianos. They're especially proud of their bottleneck in the voicing department where this fellow works, because they build pianos for music lovers, not for efficiency experts. And so I think it's just a beautiful ad. $14.77 sent this ad to Texas. I talk about fun advertisements all the time, but here's one that's not fun. This is from the Crown Can Company, and it appeared in the Quartermaster Review magazine in 1944. They're advertising their chemical warfare masks. In the advertisement, the company is talking about design improvements on their gas masks, how they've attached the filtration canister directly to the mask instead of the prior design in which they wore a canister on the belt that was attached to the mask by a hose. But these images in this ad are kind of sinister, and that has an appeal to certain collectors. Those collectors that like, anything from like Halloween stuff, horror film stuff, plague masks, and this chemical warfare stuff. There's a market out there for it. Here's a little bit closer view of the mask that's on the bottom of the page there. And from experience, I can tell you that maybe apart from being wounded or something like that, there's not a much higher level of discomfort that a soldier can experience. And military veterans might want an ad like this to remind them of just how bad things were from time to time in the military. But anyway, $18.77 sent this ad to New Jersey. In the 1980s, when I served, they called these chemical warfare suits MOP gear. MOP stood for Mission Oriented Protective Posture, and it was graduated in levels. And depending on the level of the threat, that determined how much of this stuff you had to put on and wear during exercises. Any military veterans out there that have some experience with how much fun this is, leave me a comment and tell me how you liked it. Here's a small ad for a folding bicycle. I honestly don't know if you say HON or if you just pronounce it Hun or Han, but this is a company out of Hayward, California. This ad comes from a 1973 National Aeronautics magazine. And I guess the idea behind this is that if you flew to a place where you couldn't get a rental car at the airport terminal, you might just take out your folding bicycle and ride around. That may have been why they advertised in airplane magazines. But a cute little ad with a cat there beside the folding bicycle. I guess that's for size comparison. But anyway, $8.77 sent this ad to a buyer in California. Here is the oldest ad of the week from 1936, Woman's Home Companion. Here's an advertisement for Shinola White Shoe Cleaner. Now, I want you to just take a glance at this picture right here. And I wonder if your first thought was the same as mine. She's got her shoes on the couch. Now, growing up in my house, that would have earned you a whooping. Back during the 80s, a lot of my friends that would dress in that kind of preppy fashion would wear white Converse leather tennis shoes, low top shoes, and they wouldn't wear them if they weren't pristine. So it was just about every night that the kids were cleaning their shoes with shoe cleaner and white shoe polish. Brings back memories. Anyway, 1477 sent this ad to Ohio. General Electric has and always has had facilities all through the country, but especially in the Northeast. And this is an ad for General Electric High Voltage Laboratories in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. This picture shows a researcher named Carl McEachran, and it talks about how he and others like him worked on research that helped protect your electric service from the ravages of high voltage lightning. It's a black and white full-page ad from Fortune magazine, 1940, and $23.77 sent this ad to Massachusetts, back to its hometown of Pittsfield. On your screen now is another great ad from the World War II era. This one from Bell Aircraft of Buffalo, New York. It ran in Life magazine in 1941. The plane in the picture here is the P-39 Airacobra. I read up on it just a little bit, and it was a plane that performed best under 17,000 feet. So it was used for low-level missions like ground attack and strafing and things like that. The text says that they're teaching Jones new vocabulary, and that's just a reference to their innovations in production techniques and materials and aircraft design. It's a really nice ad, full color, full page, World War II, military. It's got a lot going for it. I wanted to price it up around $28.77, but this came from Life magazine. There's a lot of copies out there, and so I really couldn't put it where I wanted to, where I think it deserved to be, but I did price it and sold it for $21.77. This is going to a buyer in Oregon. Speaking of pricing ads, there's been some questions in recent video comments about how I price my advertisements, and first of all, I appreciate the comments because it helps me understand what's on your mind and how I can make the channel a better resource for everybody. I do plan to go into some detail in future videos about how I price things. This ad and the next one are two examples of the lowest price ads that you'll find in my eBay store. These are small ads. Basically, in a nutshell, the price is set and determined by what it costs to process and ship, and also pay me for my time and effort. We'll go into some detail about pricing in a future video, but this ad sold for $6.77. It's an advertisement for the Kelly Manufacturing Company. They make farm and ranch signs. This appeared in a classic magazine from 1978. It's going to a buyer in Alabama. This second ad for $6.77 is from House Beautiful Magazine, 1950. It's for National Light Company out of St. Louis, Missouri. Remember, up until the early 20th century, all of the lights in homes were fueled by some kind of oil, whether it was well oil or kerosene or coal oil. But then with electricity came these electric lamp kits where you could just put a light kit in an oil lamp and convert it from oil to electricity, save money. This ad goes to Pennsylvania for $6.77. Now, from 1963, Life magazine comes an interesting advertisement for a Mercury Monteray automobile. In this ad, Mercury is showing off their breezeway design, and it says it vents out smoke and stale odors. Now, I didn't smoke in the 1960s. I did in the 1980s and the 90s and the 2000s. I finally quit in 2012. But now I can see the appeal of this design because I had a preacher tell me one time, he said, "You won't go to hell for smoking. You'll just smell like you already been there." And that's true. So you wanted to get those odors out of the car. Here in this picture, you've got a view of the full car. You can see the couple's dressed up there, and it's a black four-door sedan, stately styling. It looks elegant. $14.77 sent this to Louisiana. I'm glad you're still watching. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we've got our bonus topic. But for right now, this beautiful 1940 advertisement from Walt Disney Company. It's a first look at their Fantasia feature film. Here in this advertisement, you see some images from the movie that was planned to be released during 1940, and it shows you several scenes there. But if you've seen Fantasia, you know that that movie is as much about its music as it is about its animation. In all of the text of this advertisement, it talks about how RCA audio engineers helped to pioneer a new type of sound for this movie that they call Fantasound. But as you read it, basically it says that up until the release of this movie, the sound for movie motion pictures would come from behind the screen. What it's describing here is sound coming from all around the theater, what we would today call surround sound. And this is the centerfold ad of the magazine, so it's 2 full pages joined in the middle, and $23.77 sent this to a buyer in California. And this last ad, it's an ad that I just consider downright educational. From Fortune Magazine, 1965, a company called Dravo. And this full-page, full-color ad shows a iron ore mining location at Eagle Mountain, California, in the Mojave Desert. It says it's located just about 100 miles east of Palm Springs. The picture here is interesting because it shows a high aspect shot of the whole mining operation. It looks like it was taken from a nearby hillside. And at the bottom of the page, there's about 6 paragraphs there that talk about how this Dravo Corporation takes the iron ore that's mined there and they process it into a pelletized form that can be shipped cross country to East Coast steel mills. A very interesting ad. $16.77 sent this to a buyer in California. And now for that bonus topic that I mentioned. Sell your product by selling your service. just means make sure the buyer is clear on what they can expect from you. And one of the ways that I do that, there's several ways, but one of the ways that I do that is I incorporate a couple of extra images into my photographs. I've said in past videos, buyers can't always be expected to read a full item description. It should happen, but it don't. So I always add these couple of extra images in the photographs because buyers will typically look at all of the pictures that you list in an ad. And I meant to say first, this may not be the best way. There may be better ways. It's just I want to let you know what I do and why I do it. But these are images that go into my listings, and they tell the buyer what they can expect in the way of packaging, how it'll be protected from damage during shipping, and what mail service they can expect it to arrive by. Here's the second picture like this that I add to all of my listings. It talks about a full money back guarantee. And also I explain that one of the photographs that they'll see in my listing shows the item photographed against a measured background. That way they can see the exact item size instead of having to rely on an approximation, or maybe they might not understand that an image might be cropped, something like that. But anyway, the third thing there is that I always leave feedback. So there's the bonus topic. You're free to take it or leave it. I won't say it's something that you need to do. You sure don't have to do it. I just want to let you know that I do it, and it's something you can do if you think like I do, that it's a good way to communicate some of those things to prospective buyers. Well, friends, there you have another What Sold video from Blue Feather Ephemera. This is my recap screen here, and on it you can see that I sold 13 items for $199 and a penny. I did not have any sales where the name of the buyer matched the name of the company or someone mentioned in the ad. Did not have any repeat buyers. Didn't have any eBay Global Shipping Program sales, but I did sell one ad back to the town where it originated. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope you found something in this video that you can take away that'll be useful to you, and I hope I see you again next week. Hey, while you're here, I want to invite you to visit my eBay store, Blue Feather Ephemera. The link is down below in the description of this video. I always say that if a thing was made, sold, collected, celebrated, or built, you can bet it was also advertised. Classic vintage advertising makes great decor for your bar, restaurant, man cave, salon, garage, anywhere the right vibe is essential. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, please hit the like button, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.